by this horrendous act of evil in your prayers. Prayers make a difference.
I think those words would not be controversial, but they are not, in fact, going over well with some critics who are now suggesting that the expression thoughts and prayers is politically charged and that it's wrong. Listen.
We see a pattern in elected officials saying we need to send our thoughts and prayers to the families, to the victims, but then not proposing any action.
Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers didn't stop a troubled person from buying assault-grade weapons.
Thoughts and prayers are not going to stop the next mass shooting.
Joining me now, Ben Shapiro, editor-in-chief of DailyWire.com. Ben, thoughts and prayers, we say it a lot, unfortunately, these days, because we are constantly covering massacres and responding to them, which is in and of itself just a devastating situation that this country finds itself in. Nevertheless, they're genuine, but they are getting criticized.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the criticism is coming from people who really don't necessarily disagree with thoughts and prayers, but they think that if you disagree with them politically, your thoughts and prayers must be insincere. So what they really say is that if you vote with them for gun control, then you don't have to either think or pray. And if you do think and pray and you vote with them, then those thoughts and prayers are sincere. But if not, then your thoughts and prayers are really just cover for you wanting to do nothing. This is a dramatic misunderstanding of what thoughts and prayers are for, particularly prayers, what prayer is designed to do. You know, as a religious person, as an Orthodox Jew, I pray at least 3 times a day and regularly between after every meal. And the idea of a prayer is not necessarily to change policy. It's to change yourself. It's to change your community. It's to better yourself so that God smiles with more favor upon you and your community. It's not always supposed to be just fuel in the tank so that you go out and pass a gun control proposal the left likes.
Well put. Well put. We're looking at a situation in another part of this story, and we have covered many of these where there are incidents that occur on campuses and communities where there's a racial or hate incident, crime, have you will, where it turns out that that's not exactly what happened. And we instantly sort of jump the gun and assume that it is what it appears to be. One was at an Air Force Academy where someone scribbled something on message boards, and they were given a severe talking to by the lieutenant general there, who said, if you're outraged by these kinds of words, then you're in the right place, and gave everyone a serious talking to over the matter, which would make sense if it turned out that that were true. However, that wasn't what happened at all. What's going on here?
Well, I mean, in a lot of these cases, what seems to happen is that the first headline that comes out is an allegation is made of something terribly racist happening at a college. And it usually is at a college, an academy, because those are institutions where the administration is particularly sensitive, given all the civil rights laws that apply to public universities, particularly that they have to respond right away and they have to sound off right away and they have to give credence to the allegations right away. Now, listen, we should take allegations seriously, but we have seen a lot of cases now. It's not a small number of cases. We've seen a lot of cases where people make allegations of a racist slogan that's been drawn or a racist object that's been put out in public view, and it turns out that it was put there by somebody who actually promulgated the story, or it turns out that it had nothing to do with racism in the first place. This is why it's necessary in all of these cases that we actually wait for the evidence to come out before we start condemning universities as racist or all college students as racist. We're living in a really, really delicate time where every allegation, no one wants to be seen as taking these things non-seriously. No one wants to be frivolous about this stuff, but that sort of leads to the opposite problem in many cases where we don't even wait for the evidence to come out before jumping on it with both feet.
Yeah, well put. And, the problem is that this part of the story never gets covered. When it turns out that the, Muslim-garbed teenager on the subway was actually not attacked by anybody, the only thing that ever gets attention